Hello boys and girls, and welcome to Reading with Mrs. Adams. I'm Mrs. Adams, and today we're going to read 3 stories and 3 poems all about scarecrows. Let's begin with the poem. It's called The Old Scarecrow. Now this is audience participation, so you're going to have to stand up and get ready to wiggle and move. Okay boys and girls, are you ready to try The Old Scarecrow? You're going to have to stand up. Make sure you have lots of wiggle room so you can do this with me. And this is how it goes. The Old Scarecrow. The old scarecrow is such a funny man. He flops in the wind as hard as he can. He flops to the right. He flops to the left. He flops back and forth till he's almost out of breath. His arms swing out. His legs swing too. He nods his head in a how do you do. See him flippity-flop when the wind blows hard. The old scarecrow in our backyard. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Wow, I'm almost out of breath as much as that old scarecrow. The first story I plan to read to you today, boys and girls, is called The Little Old Lady Who Was Not Afraid of Anything. It's written by Linda Williams and illustrated by Megan Lloyd. This is also audience participation. When I say certain phrases, it will be your cue to do certain motions, and I'll show you what those motions are right now. So, for example, when I say clomp, clomp, you're going to take your hands and you're going to slap your thighs like this. Clomp, clomp. When I say wiggle, wiggle, you'll wiggle your shoulders like this. Wiggle, wiggle. When I say shake, shake, you'll take your hands and you'll just shake, shake. When I say clap, clap, you're going to take your hands and you're going to clap, clap. When I say nod, nod, you'll just nod your head 2 times. Nod, nod. And when I say boo, boo, you're going to take your hands and you're going to say boo with me. Boo, boo. Are you ready? Let's get started. The Little Old Lady Who Was Not Afraid of Anything by Linda Williams, illustrated by Megan Lloyd. The Little Old Lady Who Was Not Afraid of Anything by Linda Williams, illustrated by Megan Lloyd. To Charles, L.W. To my parents, with love and gratitude, M.L. Once upon a time, there was a little old lady who was not afraid of anything. One windy afternoon, the little old lady left her cottage and went for a walk in the forest to collect herbs and spices, nuts and seeds. She walked so long and so far that it started to get dark. There was only a sliver of moon shining through the night. The little old lady started to walk home. Suddenly she stopped. Right in the middle of the path were 2 big shoes, and the shoes went clomp, clomp. Get out of my way, you 2 big shoes. I'm not afraid of you, said the little old lady. On she walked down the path, but behind her she could hear 2 shoes go clomp, clomp. A little farther on, the little old lady stumbled into a pair of pants, and the pants went wiggle, wiggle. Get out of my way, you pair of pants. I'm not afraid of you, said the little old lady, and she walked on, but behind her she could hear 2 shoes go clomp, clomp. 1 pair of pants go wiggle, wiggle. Farther still, the little old lady bumped into a shirt, and the shirt went shake, shake. Get out of my way, you silly shirt. I'm not afraid of you, said the little old lady. And on she walked, a little bit faster. But behind her she could hear 2 shoes go clomp, clomp. 1 pair of pants go wiggle, wiggle. 1 shirt go shake, shake. A little ways on, the little old lady came upon 2 white gloves and a tall black hat. And the gloves went clap, clap. And the hat went nod, nod. Get out of my way, you 2 white gloves, and you tall black hat. I'm not afraid of you, she said. And on she walked, just a little bit faster. But behind her she could hear two shoes go clomp, clomp. One pair of pants go wiggle, wiggle. One shirt go shake, shake. Two gloves go clap, clap. And one hat go nod, nod. By now the little old lady was walking at quite a fast pace. She was very near her cottage when she was startled by a very huge, very orange, very scary pumpkin head. And the head went boo, boo. This time the little old lady did not stop to talk. She did not stop at all. She ran. But behind her she could hear two shoes go clomp, clomp. One pair of pants go wiggle, wiggle. One shirt go shake, shake. Two gloves go clap, clap. And one hat go nod, nod. And one scary pumpkin head go boo, boo. The little old lady did not look back. She ran as fast as she could and didn't stop to catch her breath until she was safe inside her cottage with the door locked. She sat in her chair by the fire and she rocked and she rocked. It was so quiet in her cottage before the knock, knock on the door. Should she answer it? Well, she was not afraid of anything. So she went to the door and opened it. What do you think she saw? Two shoes go clomp, clomp. One pair of pants go wiggle, wiggle. One shirt go shake, shake. Two gloves go clap, clap. One hat go nod, nod. And one scary pumpkin head go boo, boo. I'm not afraid of you, said the little old lady bravely. What do you want anyway?
We've come to scare you.
You can't scare me, said the little old lady.
Then what's to become of us?
The pumpkin head suddenly looked unhappy. I have an idea, said the little old lady. She whispered into the pumpkin's ear. The pumpkin head nodded, and its face seemed to brighten. The little old lady said, "Good night," and closed the door, and whistled on her way to bed. The next morning she woke up early. She went to her window and looked out into her garden. And what do you think she saw? Two shoes go clomp, clomp. One pair of pants go wiggle, wiggle. One shirt go shake, shake. Two gloves go clap, clap. One hat go nod, nod. One scary pumpkin head go boo, boo. And scare all the crows away. And that's the end of The Little Old Lady Who Was Not Afraid of Anything by Linda Williams, illustrated by Megan Lloyd. I hope you enjoyed participating with me as I read The Little Old Lady Who Was Not Afraid of Anything. Now I'd like to read a poem called October Morning. It's by Patricia Hubbell. October Morning. It's an apple dumplin' dandy day. The gray mouse scampers through the hay. Oak trees feel their crisp leaves curl. Maples leap and twirl. Now fields are singing songs to fall, and earth pulls on October's shawl. In every bush, birds shout, "Hooray! This apple dumpling dandy day." By Patricia Hubbell. Our next story, boys and girls, is called The Little Scarecrow Boy. It's written by Margaret Wise Brown, and it's illustrated by David Diaz. It's about a little scarecrow boy who learns the importance of doing exactly what his mom and dad tell him to do. The Little Scarecrow Boy by Margaret Wise Brown, pictures by David Diaz. The Little Scarecrow Boy. The Little Scarecrow Boy by Margaret Wise Brown, pictures by David Diaz. For my 3 children who bring to my life joy every day of the world. D.D. Once upon a time in a cornfield, there lived a scarecrow and his scarecrow wife and their little scarecrow boy. Every day of the world, Old Man Scarecrow went into the cornfield to make faces at the crows. And every day of the world, his little scarecrow boy wanted to come too. And every day of the world, Old Man Scarecrow said, "No, no, little boy, you can't go. You're not fierce enough to scare a crow. Wait till you grow." So every day, the little scarecrow boy stayed at home all day and just grew. Every day out in the field, Old Man Scarecrow waved his arms and made terrible faces. He made such terrible faces that the crows nearly lost their feathers at the sight of him there. And they flew far away, far away. Every evening when the sun went down, Old Man Scarecrow came rattling home. And all evening he sat in his scarecrow house, teaching his little scarecrow boy how to make fierce faces. Old Lady Scarecrow whistled through her straw teeth at the looks of them there. But early in the morning when the sun came up, it was the same old "No, no, little boy, you can't go. You're not fierce enough to scare a crow. Wait till you grow." So the little scarecrow boy stayed at home all day and just grew. Then one day, after the little boy had learned all 6 of his father's terrible faces so that he could make them one after the other, he decided to run away. Early the next morning, he would go out into the cornfield and he would frighten a crow. So before the sun was up, or Old Man Scarecrow was up, or Old Lady Scarecrow was up, the little scarecrow boy slipped out of bed, dressed quietly, on tiptoe, and went quietly, quietly, quietly out of the house. Over to the cornfield, up on his father's post, in his father's place. It was a fine, shining morning with the sun gleaming green down the corn blades. Crows circled in the air far away over the trees. The little scarecrow boy waved his arms through the air. He had never felt fiercer in all his life. And then came flying a big black crow. Oh, oh, oh! The little scarecrow made his first fierce face, and still came flying the big black crow. Oh, oh, oh! The little scarecrow boy made his second fierce face, and still came flying the big black crow. His third face. Oh, oh, oh! Time to go! So the little scarecrow boy ran, and he ran down the corn rows. The black flapping wings made a noise now, and looking back, he could see the blue sky through the ragged feathers of the nearest crow. He ran and he ran. Then he stopped, his fourth face, and still came flying the big black crow. So he ran and he ran and he ran and he ran. And the crow flew and he flew and he flew and he flew. And the little scarecrow boy ran. And then he made his fifth and next to fiercest face of all. And still came flying the big black crow. The little boy had only one face left now and hardly any breath. Even so he stopped. And with his arms stretched wide above his head and his fingers drooping on his hands, he gave the big crow the sixth face. And whoa! The old crow flew backwards through the air, feathers flying everywhere, until there wasn't even the shadow of a crow on the land. A scarecrow at last! The little scarecrow boy knew that he was as fierce a scarecrow as there was in all the cornfields and in all the world. And then he saw a shadow in front of him, and he looked up, and there behind him was Old Man Scarecrow, his father. And his father was proud of his little boy who had made all 6 faces at the crows. And he picked up his little Scarecrow boy in his Scarecrow arms, and they went home to breakfast. And when the little Scarecrow grew up, he was the fiercest Scarecrow in all the fields, in all the world. And that's the end of The Little Scarecrow Boy by Margaret Weiss Brown. Pictures by David Diaz. I hope you enjoyed The Little Scarecrow Boy by Margaret Weiss Brown, illustrated by David Diaz. Next, I'd like to read our final poem. It's called Scarecrow. Scarecrow. Scarecrow, what do you know? Guard the corn and watch it grow. If the birds fly in to eat, I'll wave my arms and stomp my feet. Our final story today, boys and girls, is called Barn Dance. It's written by Bill Martin Jr. and John Archambault, and it's illustrated by Ted Rand. This is a magical story. I hope you enjoy Barn Dance. Barn Dance by Bill Martin Jr. and John Archambault, illustrated by Ted Rand. Barn Dance by Bill Martin Jr. and John Archambault, illustrated by Ted Rand. Full moon shining, shining big and bright, pushing back the shadows, holding back the night. Not a thing stirring, quiet as could be, just the whisper of the leaves on the cottonwood tree. Old hound dog whining in his sleep, dreaming after rabbits in a game of hide and seek. Over in the farmhouse, all the lights were out. Farmer and his wife and kids, not a one about. All except the skinny kid with questions in his head, much too full of wonderment to spend the night in bed. He was up about and listening. When the night owl said, "Come a little closer, come a little closer, listen to the night, there's magic in the air." Then the skinny kid heard it faint begin, a plink, plink, plink on the wind's violin. Coming from the cornfield, sweet and soft and low, music hunted up by the old Scarecrow, a plinking on the fiddle strings to tune 'em up just so. The Scarecrow tucked the fiddle underneath his chin and fiddled out a welcome to all his country kin. He fiddled through the woods and fields and all around the farm, bidding everybody come to a hoedown in the barn. There was so much chit and chatter when the critters all arrived that no one saw the skinny kid oozle in and hide. Just in time to hear the crow call the dance, "Begin! Grab yourself a partner and jump right in. Right hand, left hand, round you go. Now back to back your partner in a do-si-do. Mules to the corner for a curtsy and a bow. And hey there, skinny kid, show the old cow how." Out came the skinny kid, a tickin' and a talkin', and a hummin' and a yeanin' and a rockin' and a sockin'. And he danced his little toe through a hole in his stocking. He leaped the apple barrel and the pumpkins in a pile and showed 'em how to wagon wheel barnyard style. "Now rock it to the moon and powder puff your noses and hurry home to mama on your little pink toeses. 5 times, 10 times, 15, 20. Now spin once again and that's a plenty." But the fat little pigs whirled round and round till they got so dizzy that they all fell down. The sky was warming up to the coming of the day when the skinny kid heard the night owl say, morning's coming closer, morning's coming closer. The magic time is over, night'll soon be gone. The old dog stretched and blinked a sleepy eye, just a blink too late to see the skinny kid slip by. He tiptoed through the kitchen and tiptoed up the stairs, as quiet as a feather on a breath of air. He hummed a little do-si-do and flopped himself in bed with the wonders of the barn dance dancing in his head. And that's the end of Barn Dance by Bill Martin Jr. and John Archambault, illustrated by Ted Rand. I hope you enjoyed all of the wonderful stories about scarecrows. Boys and girls, if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, you can do so. Just push the little red button. That way you'll get all of the latest videos, stories, and poems. I've had so much fun with you today, boys and girls. I want you to remember one truth, and that is that God loves you very much. So dare to dream the impossible, because all things are possible with God. I love you, and I'll see you next time on Reading with Mrs. Adams. Goodbye.